and good evening, our beloved viewers. It's 9 p.m. You are watching our live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the major stories. Contamination detect. And on the international scenes, Italy passes the 10,000 deaths marks. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. In the context of the daily statement of the Ministry of Health on the current situation with the 19 COVID delegation, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh, announced that he had detected 4 cases of the emerging coronavirus. 195 people have been diagnostic. The result of an examination of yellowing confirmed 0 for 4 people, bringing the total number of infected with the COVID-19 in Djibouti to he added the condition of the 4 person affected with the virus is stable, and one of the 40 other people is under supervision and follow-up at the quarantine center at the Bufar hospital. The ministry requires the citizens to follow medical guidelines, including washing hands with the soap, the respect at least 1 meter between individuals, using the tissues, paper when sneezing, the throwing in the garbage, and continuously ventilating the space and avoiding overcoming in the close and on a narrow spaces. He asked citizens to stay at home to stay there with their family. We have a news release. In this press release, we ask a passenger on international flight on 40, 16 and 17 March 2020 to contact the number 1517 as soon as possible. In the context of facing the outbreak of coronavirus, the Ministry of Health direct strict instruction to put in place a mechanism to monitor the taking of precautionary measure at the entrance of the hospital of Al-Rahma. Dar al-Hanan Hospital has set up a checkpoint at the check of a cop with any cases of outbreak of 19 COVID. Washing and flying units were provided at the hospital entrance to enhance preventive activities against any potential risk of coronavirus outbreak in order to protect all patients in the various departments of Dar al-Hanan. In an intervention by the director of a hospital, she pointed out to the importance of the measure taken by the hospital to confront the new outbreak of coronavirus. Is a woman. She said hand washing and flying units were provided at the hospital entrance to enhance preventive activities against any potential risk of the coronavirus outbreak. As part of a humanitarian and social response to the precautionary and preventive measure against the coronavirus epidemic in Djibouti, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, in cooperation with the Ministry of State in charge of decentralization and the Ministry of Interior, has been pursuing intensive effort since March 22 to to mitigate the social and economic impact of the coronavirus and on citizens. In this context, the ministry launched on Saturday afternoon the operation of distributing many foods basket to simple families in Bulaus and Balbala. This food support benefit families register in the social registry and the database that includes the most needy social segment throughout the national territory. The ministry is to implement similar operation to provide food assistance to the interior affected by the effort to contain the emerging virus, especially poor families and low-income people. The ministry urged residents of the city of Djibouti and the interior region to exercise calm and cooperate with the state agencies in order to take into account the measure that the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margile, his generation has directed to take to prevent the spread of coronavirus epidemic. With this continues to spread globally, hundreds of victims on this daily basis. The state's employees do not respect the rules of social distancing when drawing money from the bank of the place. A team from Djibouti Radio and Television went around in front of the banks, and you can see that people are all crammed in front of the bank. A huge crowd and queues form at the entrance to each bank, as you can see in this picture, in these images, but inside the banks the 1 meter's distance is really respective. Banks security only allows 2 people maximum to access the interior. The bank is cashier take care of 1 person at a time and not 2 or 3 people at a time, as was the case of the other time, where therefore ask the people to be more vigilant and respect these rules, which can save all the people. The Ministry of Interior reminds banks to respect working hours between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. This was a news release from the ministry. And now moving on to Tajora, as a part of a fight against the spread of coronavirus epidemic and whose optics, the army forces of the region of Tajora and the gendarmeries police mobilize set up in the various arteries in the white city has the exist of Djibouti and Obok glasses to the border for the contagion of the COVID-19. In addition, the Prefect of Tajora, Hassan Dabale, thanked all the forces mobilized for this contagion COVID-19 that protect. The Prefect said that the population must respect the essential sanitary measure recommended to avoid any contagion of this virus whose propagation goes among other through the shake hands. Advise the population to follow and respect the health measure order by the Ministry of Health. And now moving on to the international scene. The number of people who died from coronavirus in Italy on Saturday exceeded 10,000, making it almost certain to extend the closure in forces in the country. Officials said that 889 other people have died in the past 24 hours, in the second highest daily death toll since the start of coronavirus epidemic in the country on February 2020, and that the number of deaths has reached 1,023 in the northern Lamburi region, which was the majority of cases. About 5,000 are being carried out daily, said the ministries. He added that this was much lower than needed, with the thousands of people waiting for diagnosis at their home. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.